Warm welcome to everyone to this Monday morning assembly. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you and your families are all well. Today we have a number of interesting items, including a fascinating insight into George's trip to Mexico and exciting news from the Raspberry Pi competition. Before we get on to those couple of items, I'd like you to join with Mrs. Johnson in our school song. Thank you very much, Mrs. Johnson. Ever since I was a little boy, I always enjoyed exploring. When my family went out on walks on the Cornish or Welsh coastline, I would always be out in the front, leading, trying to find that next landmark and enjoying the wonderful coastline. I like to study maps. I hardly ever use a sat-nav, and always want to find out about other parts of the United Kingdom and further afield. One place I haven't visited yet, and looking forward to doing it at some point, is Mexico. So I'm particularly interested to find out more. I now would like to introduce a fascinating presentation on the Yucatan Peninsula, which has been put together by George after his family trip to Mexico during the February half-term break.
Hello there, and welcome to my presentation about the Yucatan Peninsula. I recently went on holiday there, and I'd like to tell you about it. The peninsula is a piece of land that juts out into the sea. It's part of the wonderful country of Mexico. The Yucatan Peninsula is famous for all the following things: its beautiful beaches, its ancient Mayan sites, its beautiful geographical features, its amazing culture, and its incredible wildlife. I'm going to talk about each of these in a bit more detail. Beaches. It has some of the most beautiful beaches in the world and is a favourite holiday destination for lots of Americans and Canadians. When I was there in February, it was very cold in America and Canada, but very warm in Mexico. Luckily for them, the flight is only 3 or 4 hours. Unfortunately for us, the flight is 11 hours. But believe me, it was worth the journey. Perhaps as famous as its beaches are this area's archaeological sites. The Yucatan Peninsula was home to the ancient civilization of the Mayan people. About 200 years ago, explorers began to discover forgotten cities of the Maya. One of the biggest and most famous sites is Chichen Itza. It is one of the 7 wonders of the modern world and is absolutely incredible. It's not only that the buildings are so well preserved, but it was amazing to learn about the mind-boggling mathematical skill of the Mayan architects. These are people who design buildings. I think even Mr. Robinson would be impressed by how good they were at maths. Even though this was built on 1.5 built 1,500 years ago, the maths was good enough to calculate the precise location that the structures needed to be placed in order to cast shadows and shine light on special days of the year. For example, this slide shows the main pyramid at Chichen Itza on the day of the spring equinox. It has been designed so that at exactly sunset, the sunlight will shine at the stepped structure of the pyramid to cast the image of a snake coming down the side of the pyramid. At the bottom of the steps, you can see a snake's head to complete the illusion of the snake god Kukulkan, or Quetzalcoatl. Also, at the Chichen Itza site are two important sport areas. They were used to play a sport nowadays simply called the ball game. This game was very dangerous, as it involved hitting a solid rubber ball that was very hard and very heavy through a stone hoop on the wall, without the use of hands or feet. People would use their shoulders, knees, stomachs, elbows, etc., as you'll see in the reconstruction of what the game might have looked like. Now, there were no trophies for the winner. Depending on who you believe, either the captain of the losing team was killed as a punishment for being, useless, or the captain of the winning team was killed as a great honour. Depending on which of these is true, it was impossible to get either a winning or a losing streak. The idea of the afterlife is still strong in Mexican culture today. The Mexicans even celebrate the transition from the mortal world to the underworld today with bright colours and festivity on the Day of the Dead. Everywhere I went to, you could see bright, colourful skulls and skeletons like the ones in this picture. All over the world, the land has rock beneath the soil. The Yucatan Peninsula is interesting because the particular rock there is limestone. Now, limestone lets water through, and you can very easily wear away and collapse. In the Yucatan Peninsula, this happens a lot, and there are thousands of sinkholes created by these collapses. These reveal deep sinkholes full of crystal clear water called cenotes. The Mayans thought that these were spiritual places, and they used to make sacrifices to the gods by dropping animals and people alike down the sinkholes to their death. These days they are used for swimming by people like you and me. Here's a picture of me jumping into a cenote from a platform above. I was not thrown in as a human sacrifice. Mexican food is famous all over the world. The flavours are delicious and easy to recognise. Some of these foods, such as beans, maize, avocado and chili, have been passed down through the generations, going right back to the Mayan times. Luckily, some Mayan favourites, such as dog, were not passed down through the generations. An internationally popular alcoholic drink is tequila. It was made out of the agave plant, and there is evidence that the Mexicans have been making alcoholic drinks from this plant since the times of the Mayans. Obviously, I didn't try any of this while I was on holiday. Finally, the Yucatan Peninsula is home to some amazing wildlife that you can't see in Europe. The agouti is in the bottom right-hand corner, and the coatimundi is above. The iguana is the giant lizard. We saw loads of all of these every day, wild, strolling around our hotel. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you get to visit Mexico one day too. I can't wait to go back if we ever get out of lockdown. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, George, for all your hard work in putting this together for us and your excellent presentation. Thank you from everyone. I know we all have enjoyed finding out about the rich culture of Mexico and its history. Having seen this, I just can't wait to visit. Can I just say a big thank you to all of the boys who have contributed to our assemblies so far this term. It's made it so much more interesting, and all of your contributions have been super. Please bow your heads for the prayers. Dear Lord, thank you for the gift of knowledge. Help us to remember we can never stop learning. Always remind us that Jesus often showed what it means to go the extra mile. On many occasions, he cared for people and children, even when he was very tired and weak. Please help us always to look for opportunities to go the extra mile. Please help us always to look for ways to care better and love more. For your name's sake, Amen. As normal on a Monday morning, I update you with the house points totals. And I'm delighted, first of all, to announce those boys who've reached the next level on house points. So just look at my list and congratulations. First of all, Bronze Award, Zach and Ruben in Year 6. Silver Award, 80 house points, Benjamin, David, Freddie, James, Noah, Arian, Hilkesh and Reese. Gold Award, 120 house points in Year 4, Aaron, Mustafa, Alexander, Ishan, Owen, Aubrey, Leo, Thomas, Freddie, Bailey, Harry, Zane and Neil. And in Year 5, Adam. And in Year 6, Anek and Albert. Congratulations to all of you on your gold awards. And I'm delighted this morning to be able to announce 3 boys who've achieved platinum. Very, very well done. 160 house points. Phenomenal work. And they go to Kabir in Year 5, Otto in Year 4 and Darsh in Year 4. Many, many congratulations. And what does that mean for the house totals? Well, you may have seen in the Lamb on Friday, it means that still Lincoln are out in front with a slight lead on 108 points, and they're closely followed by Churchill and Oates just in behind, not far behind at all. And Lawrence, will keep working Lawrence. You've got another half a term to catch up with the others. Just to let you know, Mr. Kruger will be leading assembly on Wednesday, which we're really looking forward to. Before I finish, I mentioned in the Lamb a few weeks ago I was keen to try out some plant growing. Well, I've had some real success. My radishes are well on the way. My wife Jackie, who is a very keen gardener, has suggested a lovely growing experiment which I thought you might want to try at home and show us your results. You need 4 items. They are a glass jar, some kitchen towel, some beans, here's one of them, and some water. And what you have to do is you're going to try and grow the beans on the outside section of the jar. And by putting in the kitchen towel, adding some water and adding the bean, you may need to push it so it's quite nice and solid, and then you add the water, and then we're going to see what happens. So it's not actually outside the jar, well, as I said, it's inside the jar, but on the edge of the inside of the jar. So you're able to see what happens. And if you need any support with that experiment, I think Jackie spotted it on Gardener's World. Episode 8 was around 40 minutes. So if you want to see the lady explain to her children what they have to do, please have a look, and you'll find that on the BBC iPlayer. Just to say, on another level, as far as growing is concerned, Cyrus and Darius have been amazing this term in their entry for the Raspberry Pi competition.
This is a reservoir. It stores water before it gets pumped into the plant over here. It gets pumped through this tube. You see that there is a pump in here. The pump is attached to this set of batteries over here, which is through a relay, so we're able to control it safely without damaging the Pi.
Plant Pi from St. John's School was looking at improving efficiency of plant management. And we really liked this project. In particular, there was the submission was fantastic. It was very well structured, really clear, well written, fantastic video, very clearly demonstrating the effectiveness of the device and how well it worked. We thought they did a really great job.
And I am delighted with how successful they've been. And I wanted you all to have a chance to hear from the judges of the Raspberry Pi competition on their fantastic entry. All I can say is wow. Have a super half-term break when you get there, everybody.